Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNC West, and what we're going to do in this video is take a look at OneCNC 4-axis position machining. Now first of all, position machining just means that we're going to machine one side of the part, index to another side of the part, machine that, index to another side and machine that, and so on for as many faces that you need to machine. Alright, so what I want to do in this video is I want to walk you through from the very beginning in regards to making sure your parts in the right location, all the way through applying toolpath, and also we'll go into preview and simulate. Okay, so here we have a part. We just have a simple solid model here. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the part is properly located in reference to the axis of rotation. Now in this example, we're rotating around the 4th axis, so we're going to be rotating around the x-axis. Alright, so just make sure that your part is properly positioned in reference to the axis of rotation. In fact, if I turn on this layer here, you can see even my tooling is positioned correctly, where there's the axis of index passing right through the center of the hole that goes right through the chuck there. So that's the very first step. Make sure that you have that. The next step is to create construction planes. Now construction planes are important because they not only tell OneCNC where to index to, how many degrees to rotate to, but it also tells OneCNC where the Z0 is for the very top of that face. So to create construction planes is very simple. You're going to find all your construction plane tools down here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Just simply select plane by left-clicking, and here's your construction plane dialog box. Quickly up here at the top, these are tools for creating and manipulating construction planes. This area here displays your default construction planes and any new construction planes that you're going to create. And then down here there's some other additional tools like save, delete, rename, and so on. So we're going to create a construction plane, and I suggest you use this option here, create plane from surface. This is really nice for this type of application. So what you want to do is take your cursor, hover over the face, and just left-hand mouse click. Now if you can't see the construction plane, no worries, just come down here to your construction plane tools, and you want to just tick this little radio button called display active plane and then click close. Alright, so that verifies that that construction plane's in the right location. Now what we want to do now is we want to save this construction plane. So we go back into our plane tools and click save, and I'm going to just call this one side 1 and then click OK. And there you go. You can see it's been added to our list of construction planes here, side 1. Let's make another one. We're going to use exactly the same tool. I'm going to just left click on that face there. We'll go back into plane and we're going to hit save again, and this time we're going to call this one side 2. That looks great. Let's do it one more time. We're going to go back here. We're going to grab that face, left click. That looks good. Now don't worry that this construction plane is rotated. That's really no big deal. Because we're using 4-axis position machining, the actual rotation of the plane isn't important. So that's okay like that. We'll go here to our construction plane tools, and again we want to save this one, and we're going to call this one side 3. That looks great. So here are all the 3 construction planes that we created. These are the construction plane tools at the top, and we use this one here called create plane from surface. It's important that you do save those construction planes. Now in my example, I really don't want to look at the construction plane, so I'm going to turn it off there. And what you do want to do is select the side that you want to machine first. Alright, and you can pick any one of these that you'd like, but I'm going to go with side 1 and click close. Because I told OneCNC not to display the construction plane, you don't actually see it, but I know that that's side 1 right there. Now this is just a solid model, so to assist me within manufacture, I'll probably extract some geometry here. I'm going to make some edges. I'll just choose that color there. I'll use extract surface edges. This isn't necessarily just limited to 4-axis work. This would be anytime you're machining a solid model and you want to use your stock toolpaths. It's always good to have wireframe geometry. So I just use the extract surface edges to quickly do that. Okay, so now let's start to machine this. We already have the side 1 construction plane selected, so it knows, OneCNC knows we're going to machine this face here. And what we want to do is come up here to the NC Manager, and we want to instruct OneCNC how we want to machine the part using 4-axis. And the way to do that is to come here and select Set Machining Axis, and then you can see we have 4-axis position, 4-axis wrap, and 4-axis simultaneous. We're going to select 4-axis position machining and then click OK. That looks very good. So now it's just a matter of machining the part. So let's do that. We'll head over here to our stock tool paths. And by the way, I'm using 2.5 axis machining, but you could use 3 axis. You could perform surface work if you want to. But in this example, it's just 2 axis machining that we need here. So I'm going to select that pocket. I already have a 1/2 inch diameter end mill. I'm going to kind of blast through this a little bit quick because these are things you've probably already seen before. But here is something that might be a little different. See where it says start and finish clearance? This is a clearance plane that is solely designed for a safety plane when the part indexes. This just ensures that the tool is not going to hit the part when it rotates. All right, in fact, the only time you'd ever use this would be inside of 4-axis machining. So I'm setting this to 2 inches, and that's going to be measured 2 inches up above the part. Now the neat thing about the depths of cut and things like that is that they're measured from the current construction plane. So for this material top, that's always going to be Z0. That's the location of the construction plane. And your final Z depth is measured from there. So you don't have to come over here and calculate, oh geez, this is really 2 inches from the top. This is a 1/4 inch down. I really want to machine it 1 inch 750 thousandths. You don't have to do that. You simply just know whatever depth of pocket this is. You just use that to simplify things. And it happens to be minus 0.3125. You can also use your pick Z option and just simply snap a vertice at the bottom of the pocket and it will grab that in there as well. These clearance planes, rapid planes, all these guys are measured from your construction plane. And so make sure your material Z-top is set to 0, and it's very simple to set your values up there. I'm going to go with high speed closed. I'm just going to helical in and let it present some toolpath there. All right, now we want to index to this side. So how do we do that? Well, to index to this side, just simply come down here and select that construction plane. That's going to be side 2. You don't have to machine them in order. You can really machine any side that you'd like, but I'm going to go with side 2. Click close, and then just whatever toolpath you want. I'll just use a clean circle on this. I already have the parameters set up on that, and let it create that. All right, now we want to drill the holes. So all we have to do is just come down here to plane, select our side 3, and then drill our holes. I'll use our drill single. Let's use arc center. I'll just grab those 4 holes there. All right, I already have a 1/4 inch diameter drill selected. I already have my parameters set. Notice how I'm using this start clearance plane, and this is measured from the construction plane. So that's going to be 2 inches above the top of the construction plane. I'll just use a G83 on that. All right, and there we go. There's our toolpath. So to take a moment just to summarize real quick, make sure your part is positioned correctly around the axis of rotation. Then create construction planes using your construction plane tools. I suggest using this guy right here, create plane from surface. Don't forget to save your construction planes and then simply select the construction planes that you want to machine. Also within the NC Manager, make sure that you have 4-axis position machining selected. Okay, so let's preview this now. So to do that, we're going to turn these layers on, and let's talk about these layers for just a second. See how I have a layer 3 and a layer 4? On layer 4, you put all your tooling that's going to rotate. So you can see there's my chuck, there's my tooling plate, my cap screws, and so on. So layer 4, that's the layer specifically designed for tooling or fixturing that's going to rotate with the part. Layer 3, that's all your tooling that's going to be stationary. Now in this example, it happens to be the actual housing of this Haas indexer here. So you see on layer 3, I have that. Okay, so let's preview this. Right-hand mouse click, preview toolpaths. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Tool's going to wrap it up 2 inches above that face right there. We have our rotate. 2 inches above. There's our drilling. Now, if you are in preview and the part and tooling aren't indexing or simulating as it rotates around, it's because you don't have show axis simulation turned on. If that's unchecked, when you play your simulation, you won't see any rotation at all. So what you would see is the tool move around the part like that. So if you want to see this simulation of the rotation, just make sure you've got the show axis simulation turned on. All right, very good. Now let's take a look at simulate. Now simulate is where you see stock being removed. And there's different ways to create stock, but for 4-axis work, if you can, I always suggest using solid models to represent your stock. So how we do that is, I'm going to turn these layers off, is you have a layer called stock. Make sure it's all uppercase, and on that layer you put all your solid models that you want to see within Simulate. Now in this example, I have our part solid model, I have our tooling plate solid model, I've got all our different cap screw solid models, all the various components in there. All right, those are all solid models. And within OneCNC, you can display multiple solid models within Simulate. So that looks very good. You don't have to have it turned on, but just make sure that it's all uppercase letters there. So let's go into Simulate now. So a right-hand mouse click. Instead of selecting Preview, we'll go to Simulate. Make sure you have the Stock Model option selected. That's going to instruct OneCNC to use all the solid models on this layer called Stock, and make sure that's all uppercase. We'll click OK. And there we go. So there's the part. This also has show axis simulation, so if that's not turned on, you won't see the rotation. As you can see, it's also very nice to include solid models of things like the chuck and fixturing as well. Alright, so very nice. Thank you so much for watching. That's OneCNC 4-axis position machining.